What is up, guys? Welcome back to the video. So a few days ago I was playing... Wait, what the f***? Who added that to the script? Anyways, I was playing an undisclosed VR game and slipped and fell on the floor. I was rushed to the hospital. The doctor told me I'd be okay, but I'd lost my memory from the past 2 years. I returned to my house and logged into my computer. Don't ask me how I remember the password to my computer. I opened my browser and holy crap, I make YouTube videos. I make VR YouTube videos. I'm gonna have to make another one, or all my fans are gonna think I'm dead. Anyways, I launched Blade and Sorcery and I just didn't know what to do. I was lost. How can I make VR YouTube videos if I don't even know how to play the fucking game? That's when I got this message on Discord. Zeke wants to help me relearn how to play Blade and Sorcery after I failed playing. That's a generous offer, but who the hell is Zeke? It doesn't matter. The doctor that fixed my brain injury was a robot AI. I think I'll just ask another AI to teach me how to play Blade and Sorcery. What could go wrong? So the most well-known AI is ChatGPT. Let's ask it what weapon and playstyle we should use in our first dungeon run.
Crashdude, I doth advise thee to wield a halberd for thy first venture into the dungeon's depths. With its long reach and potent strikes thou shalt command the battlefield. Employ sweeping motions to assail multiple adversaries, and precise thrusts to pierce the armor of stout foes. Stay nimble and maintain distance to fend off overwhelming hordes. Utilize the surroundings to thy advantage, sending foes tumbling into traps or abysses. Adapt thy strikes, switching twixt slashing and thrusting as the situation demands, and let the halberd's versatility reign supreme in the dungeon's trials.
Wow, one excellent suggestion, but I think we're gonna have to give you a name. What do we call you?
Thou art bidden to refer to me as John, esteemed crashdude, a humble servant at thy disposal, ready to lend aid and counsel in thy quests and endeavors.
Wow, I'm really starting to like this guy already. Let's get into the run, shall we? So the first weapon that John has recommended is a halberd. A halberd is a sort of long axe and spear hybrid. Good at longer melee range, whether you use a swooping axe type motion or poking spear type motion. The halberd is a great weapon and fun weapon overall. I use a spear whenever I can, but the axe portion is my favourite part of this weapon. I knock this guy down right here and poke him in his head. Whilst the weapon can be used with one hand, it's much more effective when using two. You can use your increased dual wielding strength to really get the blade into the enemy and penetrate their armor. It's even possible to chop their leg off, just like this. Damn, that must have hurt. The longer range really allows me to swing into the enemy without being in much danger. An axe to the head is an effective way to take down an opponent. I ended up disarming this guy right here. A quick swipe to the leg and his friend was dead. Obviously he wasn't going to get away safely though. After killing this guy, I seem to have experienced some sort of bug. This guy just wasn't letting go of my halberd, no matter how hard I tried to swing him around. I had to take him outside. I kept swinging him around, and then he just finally fell off. More of this bug later as well. Because the weapon is mostly pointy and sharp, armor penetration is one of the biggest struggles with this weapon, especially when the opponent has a full plate armor on almost every body part. Another pretty good disarm right here. Although the weapon is mostly blade, the sheer weight allowed me to swing my weapon hard enough that I actually just knocked the opponents down on the floor. Indoor areas were the worst for sure. Obviously the halberd is quite long, it just got stuck on things and was quite hard to fight enemies in close quarters combat. The advantage of distance was just gone when you were inside. Large groups of enemies was its specialty though, just as John said in his suggestion. The weapon is great at fending off hordes of enemies. They just couldn't get near me. They were either knocked onto the ground or had their head pierced in by the sharp axe edge. The enemies were just falling down so fast. It allowed me to move on to my next target almost instantly. The spear edge was useful when enemies were alone, and all I needed to do was a well-placed poke straight to the head. Enemies were just falling down all over the place, mostly due to my weapon, but sometimes they were falling over their own comrades. The issue was, it just wasn't enough. I tried as hard as I could, and fought valiantly, but they bested me. Pause! Okay, we failed that one. We're gonna need a much better suggestion if you want to beat the dungeon. John, what have you got?
O noble crashdude, I did earnestly believe that the halberd would grant us victory over the dungeon, yet I was mistaken.
Alright, but we're gonna need another idea though. Got any thoughts?
Crashdude, I counsel thee to wield a longsword in the dungeon. Its versatility in offense and defense allows for precise strikes, effective parries, and swift combos. Use a mix of slashing and thrusting attacks, and master parrying to create openings for riposts. Stay light on thy feet to avoid being surrounded, and target weak points to maximize damage. Chain thy attacks into combos to keep enemies on the defensive. Practice parrying, manage thy stamina, and use feints to confuse foes. With these tactics, the longsword shall help thee conquer the dungeon's threats.
John, you're a goddamn genius. So John has recommended a longsword. A longsword is likely going to force me to be closer to the enemies, but because of the nature of the weapon, it allows me to defend myself much easier. It being a lighter weapon allows me to quickly parry enemy attacks and go in for the riposte. Like the halberd, this weapon can be used one-handed and two-handed, but unlike the halberd, one isn't really better than the other. One-handed allows you to quickly swing the weapon around, dealing lots of slashing damage, and two-handed allows you to really put your strength into the weapon. Similar to the halberd, this weapon is not that great against armoured enemies, but the swiftness of one-handed attacks allow me to quickly poke them directly in the face. A common trend amongst all the different weapons is slow motion. Slow motion is such a great way to allow you to have enough time to actually think about your next move. Another great way that the longsword is effective is the ability to quickly switch the grip and change stances. This allows you to easily get a clean kill from above by holding the sword downwards. Longswords come in all different sizes. It's possible that your longsword isn't as long as this one, or it's possible that you might have one that has the same blunt power as the halberd. In general though, longswords are much heavier and longer than short swords, as the name suggests of course. Whilst the longsword was fun to use and appeared effective, I just wasn't enough to beat the dungeon, and I ended up getting beaten by a few enemies in the feast hall.
O noble crashdude, what shall we do? Another attempt hath failed, and our prospects appear bleak. I fear I have failed thee and brought dishonor upon our quest. Alas, what course shall we chart now to overcome this dire turn of events?
Well, John, it doesn't really matter. We're locked away in here, and we have no chance of escaping.
O noble crashdude, the guard doth slumber. I believe if thou wouldst grant me yonder stick upon the floor, I shall be able to procure his key from his pocket.
John, that's a fucking amazing idea. Okay, here's the stick. Be quiet though.
Esteemed crashdude, I shall try my very best. Oh, thy stick is not long enough, esteemed crashdude, fear not, as I have a trick up my sleeve.
Wow, this is amazing. Quickly, grab his key.
Esteemed crashdude, thou must escape and continue thy quest. Grab that guard's warhammer and use that as thou next weapon.
John, you're absolutely amazing. I'll see you back at base. So the next weapon that John sort of recommended was the Warhammer. This weapon is pure blunt, basically no pierce or slashing damage. As you've already seen, it's amazing at getting people off the ground, whether that's pushing them down on the floor or launching them into the upper atmosphere. Enemies just stand no chance when hit with this weapon. Sure, it's quite slow and heavy, but if it makes contact with their head, it's sure to give them brain damage for life, or hopefully just kill them. Absolutely smash this guy in his back right here. He ain't walking ever again after this. The only chance the enemies have is at range, but once I close the distance, I beat them down, like we beat Germany in 1945. Editor, can you cut that part out please? Thank you. Unlike the other weapons, two-handed is absolutely essential with this weapon. Obviously it's very heavy, and when used in one hand, it just flops around everywhere and becomes useless. I hit this woman here like I'm playing golf. and absolutely smash your friend's head in. And hit her again. Pull off an unsatisfying epic fail right here. Still getting though. This woman right here just falls off the edge for some reason. Very weird. This guy right here takes a hit in a place he probably didn't want to get hit in. Hold on, we're going to have to get an instant replay on that one. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, remember when I said this glitch would be coming back? Well, here it is. I do end up using him quite effectively against his own comrades though. Turns out a person flying into another person can deal quite a lot of damage. This guy took a lot longer to get off than the other guy though. I just kept swinging him into his friends and he just wouldn't budge. I thought these three guys right here might have put up a hard fight because of the full plate armor. Then I remembered, this weapon is 100% blunt. I tried my hardest, but as I said earlier, enemies at a range at my weakness, and an archer took me out right here. John, what the hell?
Crashdude, step no closer or I'll kill John.
Fear not, esteemed crashdude. I will be all right.
Who the hell are you, and what are you doing with John?
It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that you're gonna do exactly what I tell you, or your friend here is dead. You got it?
Why are you laughing like that?
You shut your mouth, pal. Follow my instructions exactly. I need you to break into the Masky castle and steal his mask. If you fail me, you and your friend will be dead.
Esteemed crashdude, take thy bow behind you and penetrate the fortress from afar. We shall need thy mask if we want to live.
Alright, I'll bring that mask back. Alright, so that mysterious guy has got John hostage. He wants me to retrieve Masky's mask for some reason. I have no idea why, but if I want to save John, I'm gonna have to get it. John told me to pick up a bow and use that for this dungeon run. A bow is a very different weapon than the others. It's a long-range weapon. Simply pull the string back and let a piece of sharpened stone fly through the wind into the enemy's skull. I breached inside the enemy fortress, sitting back so the enemies didn't have a chance to get me. A clean headshot right here. I have to use the force to get the arrow back. A weird bug happens here and I lose my arrow. Very annoying. I managed to breach into the main wave area. I was just hitting shot after shot. I felt like Robin Hood. I was in quite a pickle. There were dozens of them trying to get up the stairs. I'm going to have to start taking them out much faster. This is the point when I ran out of arrows. Oh no, what am I going to do? I just started punching them. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. John didn't advise me to do this. I even threw my bow and started going in slow motion. This is worrisome. No. I failed. I need to get back to John as fast as I can. No. John, are you okay?
Esteemed crashdude, thy art too late. I have succumbed to my injuries. Oh, noble crashdude.
Don't worry, John. I'm going to get a medic right now. I'll be right back.
Fear not, crashdude. My sacrifice was worthwhile. I have just one thing to say to you, and that's...
What? What is it? John? Oh no. He's dead.